Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Alchemist and The Oracle space where we delve into life's deepest truths, spark transformation, and inspire each other to grow. So I'm Nick Love, the Oracle, and today I'm thrilled to let my incredible co-host, Warriors Artist Arin, the Alchemist, take the lead in our discussion. So today we're diving into the one of the fourth agreements, which is always do your best. And so the warrior she will be guiding us through what it means to show up fully in life, but also finding peace and empowerment in giving your all moment by moment. So warriors, I can't wait to hear your insights and reflections on how we can embrace this agreement in a way that aligns with self-love, authenticity. The floor is yours. Where should we begin? And
yes. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? Thank you for joining us here on this episode of The Alchemist and The Oracle. And we're going to be dealing with the fourth agreement called Always Do Your Best. Now, I'm going to read from the book to get us started on the episode, just to get your minds kind of going, because that's what I've been told to do. And I'm going to do what I've been told to do. So I just want to thank you for being here. Thank you. Please subscribe to the channel and give a thumbs up. Let us know what you think as we have this discussion together as one. So always do your best. So begin on there. It says, under any circumstances, always do your best. No more, no less. But keep in mind that your best is never going to be the same. This is why from moment to the next. Everything is alive and changing all the time. So your best is will sometimes be high quality, and other times it will not be as good. When you wake up refreshed and energized in the morning, your best will mostly be better than when you're tired at night. Your best will be different from when you are healthy as opposed to sick, and I can attest to that personally, or sober as opposed to drunk.
oh my God, that's in the
Your
book.
best, yes, it's actually
I
in the book.
love that. I love that.
It's actually in the book, but it's true opposed to being sober to drunk. Your best will depend on whether you are feeling wonderful, happy, upset, angry, or jealous. It's gonna be different. In your everyday mood, your best can change from one moment to another, from 1 hour to the next, from one day to the next. Your best will also change over time. This is something you really need to be aware of. As you build your habit of the four agreements, your best will become better than it used to be. And you need to know that an example that I would give before I hit the others and get into that conversation is something always comes up through having the many stories and experience I have is it will change. So every year since I was in 22, because this is what I chose to do, because I love to drive. Driving is my thing, and I like to do it for pleasure. And I choose to do it how I want to, is that I have went to some parking lot to challenge my car and to challenge myself, especially because I've been driving in inclement weather forever. And so at this time, I had a one-wheel rear-wheel drive I had a 78 Cutlass. And so there's a time where you were able to put studded tires on, and there's a difference from when you put the studded tires on and when you don't. So to continue to learn how to become my best and learn is I have to know how my car is going to operate in certain circumstances. And I still do it to this day. I do donuts, I do everything. I have a blast because that's a fun thing that you want to do. So that's how you understand you change, is that because I know that change every year as I do the things to see how my car, because it ages and we age, of how I handle the roads. So that's just something to let you know that it's okay. So regardless of the quality, keep doing your best. No more, no less than your best. If you try too hard to do more than your best, you will spend more energy than is needed. And in the end, your best will not be enough. This is what we have to realize when we out here doing the work and the things that we do, because we need to be more kinder to ourselves as we're doing our best. When you overdo, you deplete your body and go against yourself. And it will take longer to accomplish the goal. But if you do less than your best, you subject yourself to frustration, self-judgment, guilt, and regrets. So just do your best in any circumstances in your life. It doesn't matter if you are sick or tired. If you always do your best, there's no way you can judge yourself. And if you don't judge yourself, there's no way you're going to suffer from guilt, blame, and self-punishment, which we definitely do. Whether we're aware of it or not, we do it, and we do some of this stuff unconsciously, I know. By always doing your best, you will break the spell that you've been under. So there's a lot of examples, and one in here is up under here. He talks about a Buddhist tipper who goes and meditates for 18 hours. He goes into the example is that, it's not required for you to do something for an extended amount of time for you to get the results of being your best. If you can sit in meditation, if you do it 15 this month and you allow yourself that, then you allow yourself the freedom to be able to have your body and your mind do the best that it can. So being an athlete, I'll use that example because then I still in my own right, I'm very competitive. So in a good way, that is. And as an athlete, you're out there trying to do your best and you set yourself up to do certain things in certain increments. And like being the best, I had decided one time because of tournament ball that I wanted to be an asset to my team. So what I did to become my best is I started taking the ball, throwing it up in the air. I had 5 balls, so I wouldn't have to chase one ball all the time and go do it and throwing up in the air. And sometimes you miss and actually taking that time out, I was able, when we got into this tournament, I said I would get on base every time. So by taking the time to do the practice, to do the work, and there's some time I swing and I missed a whole lot. It's all about divine timing. It's also about timing of the ball. And I made myself an asset to our team that I didn't know that I would, but it was my intent. And in that tournament, I got on base every time, so I could be an asset for the option to get back home. So even though my practice was not perfect, and I'm trying to overcome perfectionism, and if any of you know about what that is, there's no such thing. But you try your best to strive for perfection, to be the best that you can, while giving yourself the compassion, self-love, and rest that you desire. And so we have to understand that the best that we're able to do is good enough. And if it's good enough, then we have no reason not to love ourselves and do that and make adjustments, regardless to what someone else says. And sometimes when it's not, we can always make adjustments. And so they make examples of going to work. So you just want to know that to be your best, you don't have to sacrifice your joy. And that's what a lot of people do when they're working hard, working 480 hours, and you're just not really getting to the nature where you want to be when you're not enjoying your life. They said people, this example goes way back. Yeah, somebody that has a house, has the cars and all that, and then their boats and all the other stuff is sitting in there because they're working so hard that they don't even get to enjoy it. So that's just something to keep in mind. So I say any take you have on some of the things I just shared, because when I look at the dynamic, even I played different sports and I was very good at them, but when you're younger, you don't seem to have that much pressure. You end up learning pressure, and that's where the suffering comes in at, you know. So you be the best to do the best of what you can as you're growing, and as you continue to grow, your best will get better. But it does not mean sacrifice your joy in living your life. What those means. Um, I have been a person who have always tried to do the best, and that brings in some other behaviors or agreements I've made when it comes to people pleasing. And sometimes it doesn't matter how good you are. Some people just ain't gonna like you. You can smile, you can do your best. Some people just ain't gonna like it. But do your best anyway. Because know that whatever you do, that the best of you is good enough. So you have to become aware of these things in the matter of when you're doing them, whether or not you're enjoying them or not. If you're not enjoying them, then it's hard for you to do your best if you're not enjoying what you're doing. So how do you see that in your life perspective, my dear Nick Oracle Love?
Okay, I had to catch what you called me.
Well, yeah, it's normally Nuru, but hey.
Or yeah. Um, do your best. How it shows up. Like when I think about what that means for me and
Mm-hmm.
how important I think this agreement is,
It's huge.
is it's kind of like the reframing of it would be meet yourself where you are in any given moment
Yes.
is how I would kind of like rephrase
Yes.
it.
I like that,
Um,
Fraser.
definitely something I feel is an agreement that this 9 year that we're in, from a neurological standpoint, an energetic
Mm-hmm.
standpoint, which is all about like endings and um,
Yes.
transformation.
Yes.
I look at the 9 year as like a life review. It's like
Yes.
you have
That's
to look
what,
at
yeah.
everything that has happened and how can you do your best with where you are right now and kind of like what's going on in the world. I think there's a lot going on in the world as well. And how can you do your best with, like, I keep coming back to doing your best with meeting yourself where you are, and sometimes your best is resting. I think sometimes we're always in this, we think doing our best means engaged in some type of effort. And I've I've always, for me, do your best is a reminder for myself specifically, is that sometimes doing my best is to rest and do nothing, to just be. Don't have
Well,
to
that
do
sets you up.
anything. It allows me to reset because it honors myself and knowing right now I need to rest so I can show up and my best may be at this level that's actually like engaged in doing and like checking off things on my to-do list. Whereas today my best is chilling, laying down, maybe going outside for a walk, maybe not responding to text messages or talking to people, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's a product of setting yourself up so you can do your best and be your best. Because when we look at it, of course, I look at it from, certain different aspects, and I use athleticism because I was primary athlete, and also from cars to whatever I choose to do. I just don't want to do it. So, oh, we just don't play cards. Well, the object is to win. Now, if you don't, you just try to figure out how to get better at
Is
it.
that the object
Yes, it is for me.
for you? Because I guess
But
for
no,
me,
I
sometimes
enjoy
I
it.
play games out of enjoyment, and I think it just depends on why
That's
you're
what the
doing
book
it,
says.
right?
Yeah. Well, it's
I,
about enjoyment for me. It definitely
I
is. It
it
is.
is, but you really want to win. That's your
I
goal.
mean, so in the
And it's
book,
okay. It's okay to have the goal, like I want to win the
yeah.
game versus like I'm just having a good time. I don't really care about winning.
Well, here's the difference. So now that you put it in, he does some other work examples. So let's talk about gambling, for instance.
Gambling.
Well, that you want to go there. So,
Oh, I
um,
wasn't talking about gambling, but okay.
no,
This is out
let's
of my
go.
wheelhouse, so I'll do my best.
I mean, Spirit just brought that up. So, and because it's been in my family, so when he talks about, that doing your best, when you're doing your best to even become better, is that you don't seek the reward. So in gambling, when you're looking at seeking that reward don't happen, then it becomes a stressful situation, because then you not you I'm just gonna go, you keep putting money in, you keep doing it, and then you have to have this barrier where you know that you've done your best, you just enjoy something, you may have reaped the reward, but you're not doing it to reap the reward. Now, I've had people tell me that they go because they enjoy it. Well,
Gambling?
I can,
They
yeah.
go,
Well,
they
they
like to
sit there.
gamble,
It's the. I think it's the.
like
To
playing the
to be
slot.
clear, it's the excitement of that opportunity and how the games, because they got these little games that have these little things, and when you're sitting there, it can be a moment where you can get pretty addicted. So they enjoy the opportunity of sitting there with the option that they will win. And some of the games happen, they're really fun, and they kind of, you like it when you get the bonus. Trust me, honey, I'm aware of all that. Not because of this, just because I've been around it, and have people who go, and I get it. But I'm a type of person that you won't get me. I know how to walk. So when you're enjoying something, not looking for the reward, then that's when you are doing your best. So in work, the work example is, if you're at work and you're just there for the paycheck, like everybody knew around me was living for the weekend. I got to a point that I didn't even know when I got paid. So I was there while I was working on other stuff, and somebody mentioned payday. I was like, we got paid today. So I was actually there and doing something else where that wasn't, I knew that that was going to happen for me, but that's not why I was there doing it. Because as he says, you're looking for, you got to get a roof over your head. You got to do that. But if you're not happy, then it's hard to do your best when you're not doing something that you enjoy for the sake of enjoyment, because the reward will always come later. So to live your best life and to alleviate from suffering and making assumptions, you want to do something, because people are in jobs that they say they can't hate for that, so they're not able to be their best selves when you're not enjoying it. And so he goes over the examples of work and looking for the word, because if you don't love it, it's hard to do that in the nature of that. Um, in an environment. So always doing your best is something of enjoyment. It's something that you would do if you weren't getting a reward for it. Because wars always come later, like serving people. Be in this position to uplift the vibration, to get people out of a place of suffering, to enjoy that type of work that we're doing here is is something of being the best of what you are, humbling yourself, sharing stories. In my culture, it wouldn't, not when I'm my culture, my generation.
No, it's a culture thing too.
Well, yeah, it is a culture thing, not to share certain things, but our experiences that we went through, I realize are not just for us. And there was times that I didn't think women had experienced the stuff that I experienced, because we weren't to share it. And some people don't share stuff, because I can tell you for a fact that people will tell you that they don't believe you.
Mm.
And we hold on to stuff that needs to be addressed because of that. So it's hard to be, when you have the baggage and the things of that nature, it's hard to be your best wife or your best husband or your best mother, and that when you have the baggage. So when you are not doing anything that you enjoy, like mothering or anything of that nature, then you can't be your best self. I mean, you can't do your best if you're not enjoying what it is that you desire to do in any moment, in any time. Because when I see that you're enjoying it, and I think most people love it, like yesterday, for example, I'm at the game, and before the game, they have these dancers for the Cavaliers, and these little young child, I thought they were a little younger, but there was a sister team One was 5 and one was 6. One's the dancer and one's the gymnast. And they went out there and they just killed it. She did a yoga move that I used to do, can't do that. She just went into that move like it wasn't nothing, had her stomach up to the air, went back, and it was just beautiful. So that parent is there, and I ain't even that child's parent, and I was happy. So I mean, you be your best when you see. If you be your best self, then you see the rewards come through later as a mother or parent through your children because you're enjoying that aspect of your life. Um, disagreement will really set you free. So that's why people say I'm in a job, I'm not. Then sometimes we stay in it because of the reward for the roof. And he mentions this in detail, but we have to be able to shift into something that brings us joy in order to be rewarded, to get the reward. And sometimes that reward can be even higher than you can imagine that reward to be. So always do your best. It's even, he makes an example, and I have a situation that I have to rectify because it wasn't good. It was frigid cold out here, package. People are not taking the time to be their best. This is a perfect example. If you're not doing your best job to do that, so I have a package that was supposed to have been delivered to my home, and it was not delivered. And so I called. He's like, I'm going to show you a picture. And I'm like, you sure it was delivered to yada, yada, yada address? He's like, yeah, I'm sure. So I'm looking at it. And this particular place actually resembles the front of my business. So I'm like, well, this ain't here. I'm smart. I mean, ain't no aspect of nobody had been here. So we're on the phone. Then I walked the whole area in frigidness cold because of somebody not doing their best. So somebody suffers the consequences of you not doing your best. So you want to be in that. So come to find out, I researched it because I said, this is just not right because I needed my package. And it was delivered somewhere else because nobody took the chance to look. So, and there was no reward because there's no reward for that because the complaint is going to be there. So when you want to do your best and take your time to do something, you never know what will come of it without looking for the reward. So that might have been an odd example, but what I'm saying is the delivery people, people are not taking the time to become their best, to do their best, because there's always a consequence of when you're not doing your best. So your best doesn't mean you got to be this perfection or you got to be this, as he put it. Your best is good enough. But if you're doing something that you enjoy, then you're going to be the best at it. You won't be overwhelmed. You won't be stressed. And so you have to look at it in that arena. It's just like if you're in a sport that your parents put you in and you don't enjoy it, then you're not going to be your best. Then they're going to be wasting money. And I think that's where kids in a generation ought to be able to say, no, this is not suiting me. Your kids can't live your dreams through you. So they can't be the best that they can be if they're not doing what's natural for them. That's another kind of, uh, living examples through experience and through that and through what he shares in the text. And I just found it so relieving, especially for someone who's breaking perfectionism in in that light. You do the best you can, and as you continue to grow, you will do better. If you're not looking for the reward, then that reward will come. So it's just like my best friend said, he was doing what he knew how to do and what he was good at, but he said he would do A, B, and C if he didn't get paid to do it. And that's kind of what kind of area you want to be in. Just like our giftedness, the joy of having certain gifts and tapping into which one brings you the most joy. And do that, is what he says. And then the high reward will come later.
Mm.
And you set the vision, then to make the goals, as you talk about the goals in that, but just do, that in that arena, that what makes you happy, and then take the action on it.
So what you're
And it was just
saying,
so dope.
so what I hear you saying through your sharing and kind of mirroring what he's saying in the book is like when or where there is no joy, then you are thus not in a state of doing or being your best.
Yeah.
So when you recognize that there's a lack of joy in what it is you're doing or how you're being,
Mm-hmm.
it's providing you an opportunity to see or to get insight or ask yourself or reflect on, why am I one doing this in this way?
Mm-hmm.
Like start
Mm-hmm.
there and then
Mm-hmm.
unpacking, how can I find the joy? Because I was listening to you trying to like sharing about like being in a job and like I'm in this, for some people it's like I'm in this job because it provides me the money to, like, it funds the fun,
Pay the
right?
bills. Yeah.
It funds
To
the
pay the bills
fun.
and the roof. Yeah.
So I think sometimes I have found like I've been in a job that I didn't really enjoy, but what I challenged myself to do was to find the joy in some capacity. So it may not be the job, but maybe it's the people. Maybe I enjoy the people that I work with, don't really enjoy the job. So I've learned that sometimes changing our perspective and finding enjoyment no matter what it is that we're doing, because sometimes we can't necessarily change what our job is in any given time in that moment, like, right? But how can you find the joy in some capacity, even if you have acknowledged, okay, this doesn't bring me joy, maybe I need to find another job that does. But I always think of like
Yes.
meantime, in the meantime, till you transition in that way, how can you find the joy and the enjoyment in your life? And I know for me, I've been in jobs where I haven't enjoyed the job, but I've
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed like the people that I work with.
Mm-hmm.
Or I've enjoyed the fact that one job, I didn't enjoy the job. I didn't really enjoy the people, but I enjoyed the cafe that was there and I was able to have lunch in this really beautiful place. So that was my point of enjoyment every day. So I think you have to find the joy as best you can, as well as
Yes.
recognizing that you can be doing better than where you are right now. But it's meeting yourself where you are at any given moment as well.
I think he mentions that. I mean, I think you just hit this here page right here on 81. Um, I mean, it's like if you take action because you have to, then there's no way you can do your best. Then it is not, it's better than not to do it. But no, you do your best because doing your best makes makes you happy at all times. So like you said, so if you have the people there to make it, so you continue to be your best, because you never know who's looking. You never know who's seeing, and you never know how
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing, even in a situation that you're not doing at the time, will lead you to the place that you are to be in any given moment, because
Yeah.
you just don't know. So that is kind of it. And so yes, it's just like I don't care whether you're a cashier, and I think I've said it to people from the spiritual being of just the essence of me, the God in me. Um, Whether you are working at Mickey D's, McDonald's for most of y'all, if you are working as a cashier, if I've done it, I'm telling you, people see you. So you want to be the best. The generation I'm not seeing doing that, they're just there. They want me. Some of them are just, they just out of it. And I'm like, where'd their energy go? I had so much energy at A, B, and C and just
Yeah.
did the best
But
at what you can
do you
do.
think it's a, see, I've heard this interesting conversation around like, I feel like when I reflect on when I was the age of like Gen Z, I was doing
Mm-hmm.
the same stuff that they were. And I
Oh,
think
see, that was us.
I was trying to figure things out. I thought the world was going to be something that it was different than what I'm coming to realize it's not. So, and kind of experience a bit of disappointment around that as well. So I think, I don't know. I feel like it's a process understanding what the best is for you.
Yeah, it's different for everybody.
And
But
it
if
changes
yeah,
from time to time as well. But I think if you can always find your bit of joy no matter what's going on in your life, I think that's the sweet spot.
exactly.
I think
Exactly.
that's the point of this agreement, because what you start to realize is that
Exactly.
when you enjoy your life, you're always going to be doing your best.
Yes, yes, yes. That's it. It's the nature. I mean, we make things so complicated. So people, it's just like I have to tell people. I mean, whether you're doing whatever job, somebody's got to do the job. People got a problem. Okay, you don't want this person here in this country. There's some jobs that certain people just won't don't want to do. And what
Mm-hmm.
I did is I used to see certain people who thought they was above people, try to talk to you some certain kind of way. And I was like, I had my moments. I'm like, no, that you don't think nobody could do what you're doing? That just ain't my thing there. So everybody can do that because my grandmother wanted me to be one of them with the D-R in front of my name. So so, and in the light of what I know I am, I just ain't done it the traditional way. I got some stuff, but that don't always just make you anything that if our environmental management. I tell people all the time, whether you're cash or anything, I'm like, do the best at this that you can while you're doing it. Because I mean, you don't know who's coming through to see you or who's coming through this place or this other thing to do it while you're doing it. If not, then you need to do something different. But to do your best and find enjoyment in people and laughter and doing that, and the whole thing is not letting anybody steal your joy or at least your happiness. Because once you instill in joy, nobody can steal your joy. Um, and to find a little bit of it in everything and not allow people. That's why you can't take things personally. So it all goes back to everything to make sure nothing keeps you in the state of suffering in your mind. In the chaos that we talked about, and most people say they think of suffering because people think of suffering as if I got my arm slammed in the door or my fingers. That's to happen. Or if you get hurt or you're sick, but it's the state of the reason why we're together is to alleviate your consciousness so you don't continue to suffer in relationships and with yourself, with the ego going on and on as a protective survival method, because it has its purpose, but you have to be able to know when to separate and when to use it. So if you are a cashier, and I did that, I got fast. I think one of the other guy, he's fast. So I like to challenge myself to try to be the best at cashiering as I was, to be best at law enforcement as I was, to be the best driver that I can be and still enjoy it. So I enjoy driving. So I try to be the best that I can do at it with the sake that I know I have to share the road with someone else. Don't want to share the road with nobody else. I like the freedom of the interstate. That's why I'm on it all the time. But sometimes it can get chaotic. So I do the best, like I began with that example and first of testing myself in the enjoyment of it. So when I'm testing myself and doing donuts, I'm having fun doing it while I'm evaluating how my car runs, how I react, things of that nature. In my job, how does this go? How does this? And sometimes we do need to make a change for our greatest and highest good. But because of the people, and you mentioned the people before, because of the people I interacted with, because of the heartfelt and the reason why I was there. Because people say, oh, I said, no, baby, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. I'm here to serve you. And in that service, I get the joy because I see the smile on your faces. I had one particular person who just called for me that they wanted to be served by me in the capacity. Sometimes I was already on a call, but that, that's kind of a great reward in and of itself. It wasn't monetary, but it was a reward in and of itself that led to other things. So they all piggyback off of each other to help us get the matalte, the hell or the suffering or the chaos out of the mind so we can live life freely. Because he talk about freedom. Freedom is one of my core values. So to live free, to help look at the things that we know, like limiting beliefs, things of that nature, the baggage that we go to undo some of the things that he said the world puts on us, like in the first agreement. The things and stuff that we have opinions of others and things of that nature, and even the second agreement that we, taking things personal, which we don't want to do. And we want to live the best life and do the best that we can do and have that enjoyment as we shift. Because like you said, our best will not always be the same, but we can do our best anyway as we are shifting, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
So,
I also think it's important to be compassionate towards others.
yes.
And this is when it kind of bleeds into the other agreements of like, how can you be impeccable with your word and not make assumptions and not take it personally that,
Personally,
maybe someone is doing the best that they can do in that moment, that like maybe a few seconds before there was a customer that cussed them out, and
yes.
they're doing their best not to like cry, or they're doing their
Yes.
best not to take it out on you. So maybe they're being very curt and like matter of fact, because maybe they're just trying to, you're their last customer that they're, they can, that they've been told like they have to get through in order for them to get on a break and go and like process through what they just experienced for the first customer. And I think it also highlights why it's important for you to be the joy and to do your best and to show up in that way, because you never know how your smile can like save
That right
someone's
there.
life.
Like
So if
yesterday.
you
That right
show
there.
up doing your best and being kind and being impeccable with your word and not making assumptions and with in front of that person that just had that experience, you're able to really shift by
Their
holding
vibration.
that space of compassion with
Yes, ma'am.
them to really kind of breathe through and kind of let go that previous experience. So I think it's really important to not be so quick to judge how other people are showing up in front of us. Like, oh, you
Yes.
could be doing better, but maybe they really are doing their best, because
In
don't
the
know what
moment.
just happened. You don't
Yes,
know
ma'am.
what kind of day they're having, what kind of month they're having, what kind of year they're having, and they literally may be doing their best. So I think that's also something to kind of
I'm
reflect
glad you said
upon
that. That's awesome.
and
Yeah.
and acknowledging from the standpoint of maybe they're doing their best. And some
Yeah.
people may say
You
that's
got it.
giving them a pass. Maybe they need a pass. What's wrong with giving somebody some grace? A pass is giving someone some grace. So don't be so
Word.
quick to like do your best and use that as a tool to judge other people. Well, you need to be doing better. You could be doing better. Like that's not being impeccable with your word. So that's why it's
That's
so
judgment.
important
Yep.
how these other agreements really do filter in to one another and they support one another. That goes back to finding the joy and being that joy and that expression out in the world. That's the whole point. I
The
find
freedom, to create
the
freedom, to be
freedom, yeah,
free, the
that
freedom.
the
These
freedom,
interject to bring freedom.
yeah, letting go of that restriction, being more open in the world, and also when you're open and less restrictive in the world, you are so much more free in giving that to other people that need it, because they are doing their best. And right now their best is trying to not completely shut down and turn away from the world. So just be
So,
compassionate.
yes.
Just be so
So if
compassionate.
you're at your best, even when you're approaching someone else who is not having the best day, and in the moment, like you said, they're having their best, when you bring a smile to somebody, they said if somebody's not smiling, you bring a smile to somebody else's face, it adds several umpteen years to their
Yeah, it
to their
does.
life.
It breathes life into them. So I don't think
Yeah.
people like I recall instances where I was having like such a really horrible day, and like this one lady just came and she was just like, "Hi, how are you doing?" and just I was just having a really bad day, and I recognized I was just very kind of like very short with her. It's like, okay, I was like, I just remember going, okay, like tell me
Mhm.
what it is you need from me. And she wrote this note and kind of slipped it to me like later that
Oh my
day.
God.
And I was
Oh
just
my
like,
God.
oh my
I
God,
had one of those.
I
It
needed
just
to
fell on
hear
the
that
floor.
so much because I was really questioning like, does anybody in this space see me? Or like, is everyone in this space like behave in this way? And she just showed me because she was showing up being her best. And she sent me that
God.
message that I needed to hear, that no, there are some good people in this space. And it gave
Oh
me
no.
hope. It gave me such hope.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, always do your best.
oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Are you
You
okay?
stop it. I'm fine.
You're ready to cry?
Okay. I'm good. It just, yes, just, you just don't know how important, didn't know the depth because I had this book way before I was 17, and just not even in 17, but the depth of sharing this with y'all now, the depth that even reading this and me are going that we still get even enlightened, even more enlightened, um, in the depth, and sometimes everything is just divinely timed to actually receive it, even in a more deeper way than before,
Mm-hmm.
or really allowing it to happen, because there's always a battle when you're trying to level up each level, for lack of, I guess because it rhymed too, but for a lack of a better word, a new level, a new devil. So when you're leveling up and trying to become your best self and incorporating these and so much other stuff we would share just continues, because it would grab certain people at certain times differently. So
Yeah.
you have to know that, and how it's expressed. And I hope that we have expressed this in such a way that has enlightened you, or will enlighten you and bring you the joy and give you the aha moments, the food for thought, the awareness when you're in the world, and to catch yourself. Because I have to catch myself, because the ego is the ego. Um, and I like the way Major, she brings it up, and each time is different. Each time is different, to share about that. And it's not anywhere, you can't get rid of it. You just have to be aware of it, and to be the one, that's aware when it brings back. Because if you've been in body, and depending on how many years and decades you've been in body, then there's a lot to release. There's a lot to become aware of. There's a lot to shift. There's a lot to disagree with, because in the path after this is how to overcome these agreements that we've made, and sometimes we don't even know that we've made them, and they don't serve us, and they definitely don't serve us as we become anew, and as we shift and grow to become better people, to walk in the world. Like running into somebody I did yesterday, and something was going on, and to be able to just be you, and just a smile and shift the vibration, don't push nothing. And I share something real funny, and once somebody laugh, hell, I gotta laugh too. So I'll be laughing already, and then they laugh, and I laugh some more. So yeah, so I just Yeah, you can only be the best of. That's why we're in this world. We have to recognize each other, and in that whole judgment. Judgment is a form of suffering too, because if we're judging others, then we've been judging ourselves the whole time as well. You know. So
Yeah.
letting it says also the best way to say, to say thank you to your higher, creator, whoever God, source, universe, as you say, is, by letting go of the past and letting in the present moment, right here and right now. We should talk about the present, because I was in the book, without kind of going there, in the book of getting back to it. Everything. I mean, everything that I know. I done had this book for years. And I mean, I got some stuff highlighted, but the power of now. So being in the present moment, all these four agreements connect with each other at any level, whether you go back and how we've been shifting and how they do, doing your best and forming the habits, forming these agreements and letting go of the other agreements that don't serve you. Like limiting beliefs, somewhere down the line, there's been some agreement you've made, something that's been said, something that's went on, something you have to live with. And some of that stuff is deep. It can be so deep, and to overcome it, you have to continue to do the work, continue to question self, which my ego does not like me to do. So I'm telling you, uh, but I'm having fun in the process. Growing and learning is just beautiful. Beautiful. Doing your best is beautiful. So be the best self wherever you are in the world. Make somebody smile. It'll make your day. It'll
Self
make your day.
smile. Enjoy your life. I think it just goes back to
Yeah.
finding the enjoyment in your life.
Yep. Mentions that.
Um,
Yeah.
and when you recognize that it's a lack of finding, if you have a really hard time finding any joy or enjoyment with what you're doing
Mm-hmm.
on any level, you are not doing your best at
Right.
all.
Right. 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 Right.
Because even in like moments where I was literally doing my best, I can identify moments of joy. I can identify, and sometimes it was through other people, like kind of reminding me, like, keep having that hope. And it was just like, oh, and it boosted my spirits. And then sometimes it was like I found the joy in like laughing or like looking at the animals doing just being animals animaling. I find that brings me such joy and
They
enjoyment.
are interesting. Squirrels are a trip.
Aren't they
They,
hilarious to watch?
oh my goodness.
They are so, I have so much fun watching squirrels, especially when they're like
If they
combative
even
with another one. That's so interesting to watch that play out. Just to see how they like how they resolve their conflict, I guess.
and if
I don't
they even know a human, they know how to antagonize you too.
they
They
know how to
funny.
antagonize anything. I know my brother's always talking about the squirrels that live up in the tree that
Mm-hmm.
pisses off his dog Deuce. Oh
Oh
my god, that squirrel has been around a long, and squirrels live a long time.
yeah, they do their
And
best. They be
so
they
this
something.
squirrel, like he knows it's the squirrel because of the squirrel's tail.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same squirrel that like comes in front because Deuce likes to lay in front of the patio door
Mm-hmm.
during a certain time of day. The squirrel knows this,
Mm-hmm.
knows that he can't get out because he's behind the door, and the squirrel literally comes and it's like window like, hey, I'm outside and you can't get me, and it just like sets him off like clockwork. Clockwork.
So
It's
I'm telling you,
hilarious.
animals may not speak human. They have the same. Oh, you can learn from the animal population. I mean, on a regular basis. So, and he knows that that dog goes off every time he come to that window, don't he? So he doing it
He
for
knows
his
when
own
he's
enjoyment.
there. He knows
Yeah.
when he's there. The same time of day,
So he's
because it
having
sets
his
off the
best life.
camera. Like he's enjoying his life. He's
Life.
doing his best. Okay, and even in that situation, Deuce is doing his best because he's like, I'm a dog. I'm gonna bark and express my frustration that this squirrel is on the other side
that I
and
can't
this
chase.
window is preventing me from being and doing my best, which is to like attack that
Chase them,
squirrel.
yeah, to catch them, to chase them. Oh my Lord,
He gets
this is
away every
awesome.
time, like every time, like the few times where my brother will let the door open, the squirrel always gets away
Oh yeah, they
every
are
single time.
they
And
are witty and fast.
one time to the point where the squirrel ran up the tree and started throwing nuts down. And
That'd be
luckily
a
we have the
movie.
technology because my brother was like, I have
Wow.
to record this because no one's gonna believe me. And I wouldn't
Right.
have believed it had I not seen the video. It's the most interesting thing ever. So if you can't find joy in your own life, maybe like just pause and reflect on the world around you.
Yes,
There's a
indeed.
lot of things that can like make you laugh and just kind of shift your perspective instantly. Like, you know what? My life is not that bad. It's not as
That,
bad. Even
yes,
right now, I'm laughing. It's not that bad because at least I can look at the squirrels and get some joy out of them just being themselves.
yes, yes, yes. They
I
just have
love that
mentioned
we
that
had
you
a
can learn a
whole.
lot.
I love we had a whole segment on squirrels.
I hope it helped y'all.
Right?
I'm enlightened because it was funny. That's oh man, just the throwing the
Throwing
the
nuts, throwing stuff, and then like audibly like express like the squirrel talk like get away from my tree or something like
I
that,
know, right? Yes, yes, yes. Oh my goodness.
or taunting him like
That's
"Ah,
what it is. Oh,
from the
they are
tree."
it's funny smart. Smart. I mean, yeah.
They're very aggressive. They're very aggressive. And you guys have squirrels up where you are. I don't know if you have similar squirrels to the squirrels in Michigan that look like beavers. Our squirrels are not that big. I will always remember. Do
Out
you
in
guys have?
Ohio, they Dayton in Ohio, they're normal.
Oh my God, the ones in
We
Michigan
even got the black ones now,
are
which were
huge.
in Iowa, and then they trickled over.
Other,
And I had never seen the black squirrels, and one
why
of
are
the guys
they
that
moving?
that used to um um oh my God, he used to dispatch for us one of them, and used to study them and do that. I still have one of the wood things he gave me on there. I think it's a Christmas ornament, but did something on the back score. So now I'm seeing them all over now, all the years that have passed. Now we have them here. But the only thing that I never saw really close up is the what's the thing that they do in February to tell us how our weather gonna be? I don't even want February to get here. I'm chilling right now in the wintertime.
Oh, you mean the
Um,
groundhog? It's a
the
groundhog, not a squirrel.
groundhog. I never seen them. No, not ground. I'm saying, but when you talked
Oh,
about
you've
beaver
never?
tails, I
No,
hadn't
I'm
saw
sorry.
one to recently across
Michigan
because they were never in our neighborhood, and I'm
beavers?
like beavers don't come out
No,
here
no
in
groundhog.
the dam, but it was a groundhog. So I saw several of them out here where I'd never seen them because I was like, where are they seeing them to tell us how our weather gonna be? And now they everywhere because I believe that man, us, just off the subject for a minute, y'all, is really taking
It
away
is on the
the
subject because we could be
nature.
doing better. We could be doing better at
That's
stewarding
right.
nature. That's the
Yeah,
point.
because we're
That
tearing
is the
up.
point we're trying to make. How can we
Yeah,
do better? Um,
in the
are
world.
are you? Because it starts with you. Are you doing your best as a steward of the earth? Because
That
we can
yes,
talk about
that
like doing best in my life, but how are you being your best in your environment as well? How are you
yeah,
taking up the space in a way that is honoring and is aware of your practices? Are your practices the best that they could be? Could you be doing better? And I
that
feel like
that
we as humans, I feel like we all could be doing a lot better in showing appreciation for the squirrels providing entertainment and what have you. Like I feed the
For
squirrels.
nature, yeah.
I
I
love
mean,
the squirrels and the birds.
there's deer running around in neighborhoods where they wouldn't be because we're taking up the forest. And I'm looking at so much property that could be redone that they're building out anew when we have places in here that could be torn down and redone because the families aren't of 15, 10, and 8 people where we had these 2 family homes and this and that, and people are not even keeping up those homes and things of that nature like that anymore. And then they're continuing to build out, which is bringing the animal population. There's so many accidents. I mean,
Or with
of
the
taking
deer.
care of that. Yeah, deer and other animals that you wouldn't normally see. My daughter was just talking about, what were we talking about? One animal, a wolf or something, or a lion, something. There's things that should not be in the inner area that we've created. And there's so much that can be rebuilt and bought and people living in and doing that and redoing that than to continue to take up land that I think should be there's another word for it where they cannot build on it, you know,
Mm.
you
I
know.
do think we need to have more areas that are green space, I guess you can say. I don't even know that that's that really
There's a word I can't think of it.
emphasizes
Yeah,
the importance of allowing and honoring, acknowledging the fact that we've come in and we have destroyed how Mother Nature has built the world before we
yeah,
got here, and we're tearing it down and we're displacing animals from their house and their
yes,
homes.
yes,
And I think
yes. They
we
don't
get
have no food.
offended when they come in. It's like, oh my gosh, these animals are too close to my home. It's like, actually,
Yeah,
you probably displaced them when you moved into your house. It may not have been when you moved in there, but when it was built, you displaced some
yeah,
animals. Believe
yeah,
that. That is a truth.
yeah, 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 yeah. But yeah, it's that. But yeah, just look at doing your best, being your best all the time. Honoring yourself, humbling yourself, being in integrity with yourself, and learning the truth about yourself, because a lot of things that's in the mind are lies. So, and the assumption we make, the judgment we make, that's lies. Just like she said, we honor people. We don't know what any of us go through at any given time. Even the best of us are going through something. One of the examples, that we know that Major Allen Manziel lost 2 children. You just don't know, but she's dope. So, it's a learning. It's what you learn from others and how they carry on. And the fact that she expresses that helps other mothers and other people. And even other fathers, other people that public eye or people that we know, even some that I know that not so much in the public eye doing things, so and and just giving love and being the love that you truly are. And don't let anybody, and once you connect with your inner self and things of that nature and become and do your best, you don't let nobody take you out of that. Just let them be them. You don't have to conform. And the fact we have conformed has really taken us out of the joy of who we are. And so we have to, as I have in my poem, undoctrinate myself from the domestication of the world.
Mm.
And I have chosen to do that. So maybe I'll share my poem. Maybe.
Do you have any closing thoughts as we get to the end of this
No, I
episode?
think we shared them. I think I've shared mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say, given the time that we're recording this, and I think this is going to be something that we're going to be called upon as as a people, as humans in this world, probably like the next 30, 40 years. My reminder would be to do your best in how you are being with other people.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yep.
we're
We
in
should.
a time of great shifting, and
Hmm.
you just don't know what people have going on.
I do have one thing.
So, hmm
My quote is is love is our only answer. It's our only solution, actually.
Mm.
And, to talk about love, love is the internal essence of who you are before you before you were indoctrinated in the world with its opinions and stuff. If you connect with that, then you'll be able to love anybody regardless to what they do. And I can say that because I know what this body has been through. And the spirit that's been in it in this living body at this time. And I've had no hate. Did it affect me? Of course it did, but somehow the love in me still allowed me to be and not put that on anyone else. Um, and I have since cleared and continue to clear myself of it. And I am thankful for that. So love is our only solution. So be more the love that you are.
All right.
We
We'll
yeah.
leave it there. So thank you so much for spending the time with us in this episode, watching this episode. And if you haven't already, this is your call to action to subscribe to the Alchemist and the Oracle channel and let us know how this resonates with you. Leave a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up or not. I'm not trying to tell you how to feel or how to be. So thank you so much. And also too, be sure to watch the other agreements. We focused on this one agreement, but there are the other 3 agreements as well. And
Yes, yes, please do.
we'll leave it there. Thanks so much for watching again. And
Much
to
love.
see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.